Hey Mother Flipper, this video is all about, and I believe it is inevitably directly going to combine into parkour. Well, like, before I get into the video, I I I, ugh, sh- we should figure out how to get away to get what the either £13 or £20, depending on how big you want the shirt to be, for just this yin yang thing for Virginia City's blame of stance and Knuckles' confidence dream state, and that should be a very well edited image, and that should be a very well edited shot. Now, so, so something quite hilarious happened today. Like today, even though I've had an inverted sleep schedule for like 4 days, I must have had so much positivity pumping through my system because today's been one of the best days of the month, and the how great it's felt has been probably even a bit more so than when I was first getting the Tai Long blindfolded flip. Now, this question's been. I felt like figuring this out was. It just felt like there was this barrier to think about it, and now I believe I've solved it. It's basically when. And I don't mean that I'm skilled in this yet, I just think I've figured out the logic and how to assess these situations properly, and how the feelings of these situations are stored in the body. Now, without me having the image of blamer of Virginia City's blamer stance on me, or that's a really good question. Where did my Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic's transition step has to go? In keeping in mind throughout the rest of the video, when I say archetype, it just means the patterns that, but behavioral patterns that have existed throughout history everywhere. I don't care who you are, I don't care what culture you're in, because these are evolutionarily ingrained into your system. As long as you have the emotional vitality and the emotional confidence in you, at least in this situation, then these are going to be in everyone's systems in one way or another. And I believe this is going to give you the most bang for your buck regarding tackling these situations, or at least reframing them and getting guidance towards them. Because I also said to myself, if I have a close, here we go. This is quite similar to a clearance crystal deck code. It feels quite good to touch because it's charged out. Feels clear to touch. What's the difference between what's the difference in effect between Jerry Sargent's pyramid code, which he says on the audio is powerful enough to change a paradigm and change your. It's powerful enough to give a powerful mental shift, and he said provide a miracle. Although, what I'm aiming for here, regarding a paradigm shift, is because I want to apply the least effort to changing things here in another person's system or my own system, especially my own system. Because I want to apply the least amount of effort in changing a perspective that's locked into the body language of Knuckles' confidence dream state, or especially just Blamer. What I want to do with the pyramid code, which is now deeply ingrained into my system, I just have the skill of it now, is the God code, is to be direct and basically weaving through a person's system where it gets you the most bang for your buck with what I'm about to say, and applying the pyramid code to just the point where there's been confusion, there's been disagreement, there's been assumptions made which the people don't realize are true, because the same incorrect assumptions and the same miscommunication patterns are going to be present throughout all these situations in the same way. And what this would enable you to do is cut out the context of today's times, in essence, how the person rationalizes how the person thinks in today's context about the situation, and basically just to chuck that out and get down to an archetypal language pattern and a pattern of feelings. The patterns of feelings are going to be through these body languages, through these emotional gestures. And so the aim is, if a person was angry at someone, you essentially find that the cogs in their system that you can change with the least amount of power, which are going to be the same in every situation, and apply just to clearance, just to an energy of clearance, which I think I should be able to use a clearance crystal, my rotated quartz, or the pyramid card. I'm going to assume there's not that much of a difference here, even though there probably is. And the objective is to trigger a situation where the guy goes, "Oh, I didn't realize that before. I didn't know they thought about me in that way. I realized I completely made that up now." And they are then freed from what they thought before and are free to live a higher quality overall state in life. So, because a hilarious thing happened, which wasn't hilarious initially, although I used my methods to reframe it to be hilarious. So, I went, because of what I figured out with the power source, that I'd only really tell close friends. I've told Esme about it today, which was wonderful, because usually people act like idiots in that subject area. So if you aren't as much of an idiot as most people, and are emotionally mature enough to take something so basic, then, well, I think, at least if you're listening to me, you're bridging onto the bright side of life. So, with the power source, it's basically about using the power for how happy you can feel and how confident you can feel via redirecting the power of your balls into Knuckles' confidence dream state. And when I've done that, the energy goes directly into my stomach and my lungs. And I'm going to assume that's for everyone here, because just to simplify things. And so I said, if I go into a high mode of blaming, if I start to get into a fight, so say that Dad's blood pressure spikes, and I see my dad's blood pressure spikes. The energy of the thought of seeing my dad's blood pressure spike and him doing something and telling me something is going to go straight through the top of my triple warmer meridian, which that's a large intestine meridian. The triple warmer meridian. You know, because it's the triple warmer meridian is your eyes gain that your eyes see them getting angry at something, and then it processes that. Then your system processes what you've heard through your ear, and then it goes down the line of triple warmer. Although the question was, So once I see my dad or just an angry person in general get angry at something, and my system is judging how to react. At least if they're blaming, and I'm trying to feel as confident as I can. Although at an unconscious level, without me even thinking about it, it's like if a tiger suddenly appeared directly behind you. Like what do I see? What do I hear? And then my system's going to send a message to my gut initially just to judge on a fight or flight basis how to react as an emotional knee-jerk response. And then, so it decides in my gut, via a gut feeling, what to do. And then it, and then the signal gets into my lungs for that inhale of how to react, whether it's a really damn short breath or a really long one, or yelling at the other person. Reason why, although I've went from the exaggerated stances, which are useful just in thinking about things, although obviously in real life, I think at the moment I'm just gonna say 25% of the time I think people are actually encountering those exaggerated stances for blaming and stress. Though, yeah, so although I'm assuming it's going to be more useful to deal with these to deal with this kind of situation practically through facial muscles, as the sensory information and the energy of the thought of the